Hi everyone, my name is Imani Robertson. I really like to do photography, and I do a specific type of photography. It's called fine arts photography or conceptual photography. My photos, I try to manipulate the images based on the poetry that I write and the images that I make. I wanted to show you my website and see how it's like. Well, my website is imanirobertsonblog.wordpress.com. My images are copyrighted, but click on this right here. This is a picture of the ocean that I took, and I blurred it with a radial blur. See, it's a blur around the ocean. I took it in Fort Lauderdale Beach. This is a picture for the cover of my chapbook Syllogy. And why I chose this cover is because Syllogy is a lot about nature poems, but mainly involving water and the ocean and so forth. The name of the poem that I put on WordPress is called Ocean Verse. And here we go. I tried making my own verse of poetry. You know how there's rondeau, sonnet, you have tierza, rima, you have those types. I tried making my own where I write a sentence. I call it subsequent word form. I made this where I write a sentence, and then I put in, with each word of the sentence, I began a new sentence. But this wasn't an experiment. This is really how I felt going to the beach. And I imagined a mermaid singing in the water with a person swimming around. Ocean verse. Take my hand and let's go in the water. Take in the conquered ocean sound, she sings. My skin's warmed by the sun's veil. Gulls chatter. Hand me the shell to call her and pearl rings. And dance in tune as the blue waves splatter. Let's see the literal caves, shells, and twigs. Go to the cavern's edge. Swim at laughter. In the sea beds are tales that will impinge. The sand is almost in sight, waves scatter. Water gave us a journey that we bring. So this is from Syllogy. And yes, I love to write poetry, and that's what makes my photography unique. So this is one of my poems. It's a short poem. Usually my poems are cinematic or it's based off a story. But if you're interested in me doing a poetry commission for you to see more ones, it's $1 a page, which is a lot cheaper than the ones that a lot of people offer for poetry commissions, and I can make a story for you. My phone number is 954-213-5752, and my email is robertson.imani@hotmail.com. But additionally, on my website, I have digital art. I'm just trying out digital art, so trust me, I have a lot to learn. The reason why I made my eyes purple is because I made a poem called Iris. It's actually called Orange Iris, but I chose purple because purple looks nicer. And why I made the poem Orange Iris, it's about someone who goes to the sky looking for faith, looking for something, a meaning to what they do in life. Because in the ancient times, an iris flower was associated with faith. But they use their iris or their eyes to see what they're doing. And in this case, it's poetry, art, and music. They say that they like all three, but they want to be a master of one. So they try looking for an iris for faith. So I also did this, a sphinx in front of a nebula. This one wasn't based off a poem, I just felt like doing surreal art. This one is a chicken with soybean eggs. It represents food that vegans eat, but vegans don't really harm the animals in the way they eat. So it's our source of eggs, as you can say, or our type of egg is actually a soybean because we use soybeans for so many meat, egg, and milk alternatives. So that's why I drew a chicken with soybean eggs and even peacock feathers with soybean feathers to say that's how vegans get their food in a non-hurtful way. And I am a vegan. I've been vegan since December last year. A picture of me blowing Jupiter gum. That's not related to my poems. That was for fun. This with a fish eye, this flower. It's based off one of my nature poems about flowers. I really like this picture. This picture. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. What I was doing was experimenting with mirrors and reflections one morning in Canada, and it just so happened that when I was holding the camera to my eye, or my phone rather, it was dark in that area, but only the sun showed through my eye. So I wanted to say beauty is in the eye of the beholder, where it's reflecting in the eye that I used to look through my phone camera. So the aperture was 2.4, the shutter speed was 1/30th of a second, and the focal length was 2.5 millimeters. Sometimes I just like to take nature photos for fun. I really like nature, and a lot of times that's what inspires my poetry. This, I took a panorama in Jamaica. And now, I'm going to read one of the story poems that I was talking about. Who Man. Who Man is about a girl who is about to become an adult, but she kind of wants to keep her youth so she can have freedom and guidance, but she wants to be an adult so she can control her life. And I compare it to living in a circus, and the 10th veil, or the circus veil, is concealing her. Who Man is her owner, or rather the person who is her boss and tells her how to live. He resembles what controls her youth, but then the audience says she can unveil herself, she can leave if she wants to, but she chooses to stay there. I'll just read a part of it. Who Man. Who am I? I don't know the truth, concealed behind a veil called youth. Who Man is sitting there, he interrogates you, questioning your worth as he glares. Your energy is not of curiosity, but question yourself with hostility. And he tries to change your form. Who's behind a face that has become worn? Then he pushes you out as you go on the trapeze to dance, not doing this to your audience, but putting yourself in a trance. You finish and take his hand, although you don't know him. Sign a contract, your will, as she is wrapped in her circus dance. So that's an example. Here's my chat book if anyone is interested in it. Remember, my phone number is 954-213-5752. My email is robertson.imani@hotmail.com. And you can just email me if you want any one page of these. The whole chat book itself is 39 pages. It's $1 a page. But back to my website. I took a picture of a sunset in Orlando. I made it black and white. Bridges when I was in Canada, because I went to Canada the second week of August. There you go. All I did was black and white. It's not photoshopped or anything. But the digital art, I like to use something called PixArt, where I just manually edit it. This was in Detroit. Here are some images of water that I took in Black River in Jamaica, James Bond Beach, and near Ocho Rios. Remember, my website is imanirobertsonblog.wordpress.com. Thank you for your time and for looking at my photography based off of my poetry. I like to combine the two. Really,